Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Karens. In today's episode, entitled aunt thinks she gets my child? No room? But I paid my deposit. Karen refuses to buy a bus ticket, gets herself arrested. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Entitled aunt thinks she gets my child? This is not my story, but my friends who has asked me to post it here because her account is too new. She is Shaven Turtle, and I'll get her to comment below for if anyone would like to message her. So this happened when I was a teenager, but I still think about it, and when I found this subreddit I just had to post. So when I was 17 I got pregnant and the father didn't want anything to do with it, which was fine as we weren't even dating. I intended on putting the baby up for adoption because I wasn't ready for a child, and I'm sure there is lovely people out there that could love and care and provide for my baby. However, my aunt, who already had 6 children, 5 boys and 1 girl, for some crazy reason automatically believed the child would be hers once I gave birth. She was also a terrible mother, so there's no way my child was going to her. I asked my parents if they had told her this or anything, and they had no idea. All they had told her is that I was pregnant and was going to give the baby up. I found all this out when I went to hers for my cousin's birthday. She made a comment about how she was going to have to make some room for the baby, and I asked, "Wait, wow, are you pregnant again?" She laughed and then told me, "No, when you give your baby, silly." At this point I literally thought she had lost her marbles. I told her no, I was giving my baby up for adoption. She just laughed once again and said, "Sure, that's what I'm saying now." I continued to clearly tell her, "No, you are not having my child. Like, this isn't some of can I borrow your Barbie doll, this is literally a human." She just continued telling me I'll change my mind once I meet my baby. I gave up in the end because she just would not accept the fact I wouldn't give her my baby. When I went into labor my mom told my grandpa, who told my aunt, and she turned up at the hospital waiting for me to give her my baby. I was pissed and told her to leave. She finally left, and it was the weirdest experience of my life. I'm close to my cousins, and so I have seen her since, but I haven't really properly spoken to her since. My baby girl was stillborn and it was devastating, and I know my entitled aunt made some comments to my parents behind my back, but to this day I refuse to find out what she said. Wow, your aunt is insane. I had something similar happen when I was pregnant with my oldest. I was 14 when I fell pregnant and 15 when my daughter was born. My mom's mom always wanted another grandchild, but my mom wasn't fit to carry another child, so she decided to claim my daughter. Even offered me money to sign her over to her. This woman spent all day, every day drunk off her ass. No way I was letting her get her hands on my daughter. She made my life hell, even calling the police when I got a sitter for a few hours. Hello, I am Shaven Turtle. I'm so sorry for the loss of your baby. I know you were planning on giving the baby up for adoption, but I'm sure it was still tough. I see that you have 2.53 children now. Do you feel like you got past it? That aunt had no right to demand your child. If I had been in your shoes, I would have been like, you can't even take care of the 6 you got. What are you trying to do, go for the most kids neglected award? Had to repost, as I usually just go with the standard comment entry, as I don't usually see many posting for someone else's posts. Okay, how dare this heifer of an aunt go from "I'm getting that baby" to basically talking ill, which I can guarantee that it was basically how it was your fault that your baby died. Disgusting. Human life isn't something to be toyed with, and never blame the mother for something like a baby being stillborn. That shit's way out of their control. It's very depressing that even my dumbass knows that. Straight face. My stepsister did the same thing. I was a teen mom. She asked me and my mom about adopting my baby. My mom said talk to me, I said no. My stepsister couldn't have children because she was on strong antipsychotics for paranoid schizophrenia. She even came to the hospital after delivery and thought she'd take my baby home. No. She always acted weird at family gatherings and never spoke or looked at my kids. We are no contact for several years. 15 years later and my child is amazing. Currently sitting beside me on the couch. Wow, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope you're better now. First of all, sorry for your loss. Without judging how good or bad a mother your aunt is, the idea may not be so absurd, at least for some generations ago, and I can easily see that your aunt may have heard a couple of stories here and there that make her idea seem kind of normal. When my grandparents got their fourth child, a great uncle asked whether they could take that child in as theirs. They had problems conceiving, and apparently it wasn't that uncommon that families would help out in that way. One mouth less to feed for one family, the possibility to actually have children for the other couple, and the child remains in the larger family. It's also been fairly common with teen pregnancies when marriage was not an option. There are a couple of I found out my older sister/cousin is actually my mother's stories on Reddit actually. So I can imagine she had some precedence in her head when assuming that the child would preferably be kept in the family. Not that I condone her actions. No room? But I paid my deposit. This tale comes from when I was working night audit in a busy hotel on the outskirts of a small city about 8 years ago. It's a sold-out night. I have one room left with one check-in, marked with a late arrival flag, so we know the guest is arriving after 2 a.m. and late shift have already spoken to the guest. Overbooking off, and our local ring round also verifies that the area is sold out too. This is going to be a perfect fill, so I'm happy, and my night porter is cracking on with the rounds. It's 2:15 a.m. and I'm just about to run the night audit when in walks Karen. She states her name, slaps down a credit card, and asks to be checked in quickly. Immediately alarm bells are ringing as it's not the name of the last arrival I have on the list. I ask her the normal questions. 1. Is the reservation booked under another name? 2. Do you have your booking confirmation to hand? She looks at me as if I'd suddenly grown an extra head, asks if I'm stupid, and pushes her credit card further towards me across the desk. Me, I'm really sorry madam, but I don't have a record of your reservation for tonight and the hotel is sold out. If you don't have a confirmation number to hand, I can't check you in as I don't see a verified reservation for you. Karen, I have a booking, it's been made months ago and I paid a deposit. I just want to be checked in. Me, okay. Let me run your card and see if I can find any payments. Was this the card you prepaid the booking on? Karen rolls her eyes. Me, runs card. Sorry madam, but I'm not finding any payments associated with this card for previous or upcoming reservations. Are you sure your booking is for this hotel, as there are 2 other hotels of the same brand with similar names in the city? Karen, I always stay here. The reception manager knows me and takes care of my bookings personally. Me, madam, I am the FOM, and I believe this is the first time I am making your acquaintance. And when I pull your information up, I'm not seeing any data, which means you haven't had a reservation with us in the past 3 years. Are you sure you have booked this specific location? This interaction is continued back and forth for almost 25 minutes, and her attitude is nonchalant with the occasional eye rolls, huffs and puffs. She's texting the entire time. By this time I've accessed the chain's dreadful central reservation system and searched other local properties' residential list, which are showing she doesn't have bookings there. The last arrival has also turned up with her kid in tow, and is sat on our lobby sofa watching the entertainment. I've already paged my porter to discreetly check in the waiting guests so not as to antagonize Karen, who is scarily quiet, and I'm just waiting for her to explode. Finally, she slams her entire tiny purse on the counter and exclaims my stupidity. She claims to have paid a 50% deposit, that the reception manager always handles her reservations personally, and that I'm a complete and total moron. By this point, the other guest comes back down for a smoke and is laughing watching this crazy person just lose her shit. I let her melt down entirely, and when she's run out of steam I suggest that I can book her a room at the only available hotel in a 20-mile radius. However, as she doesn't have a valid booking with me, she would need to pay the rate at the hotel direct and then contact us with her proof of booking, and I assured her that she will get a free refund and a comp week booking with spa treatments if she has the proof of reservation, and I'm wrong. Off she eventually toddles to the waiting BMW that's been idling the entire time she's been here. I make the reservation for her at the new hotel and write out a brief handover log. In walks the late arrival guest who's been smoking and enjoying the free entertainment. She slaps down a brand new 20-pack of Marlboros, winks at me and says, "Looks like you need these," pats me on the arm and heads off to bed. I was off for the next 2 days, came back and caught up with the GM. Apparently she never arrived at the booked-out hotel, didn't come back to us, and no one knows who she is. It still baffles me to this day what her game plan was and where she went. Haha, she finally remembered where she was supposed to go. We were traveling in Barcelona and showed up to check in to our hotel only to find out they had 2 locations and ours was nowhere near our current location. It wasn't so bad except for the 30-minute bus ride with our luggage. You can bet the next time I booked accommodations in a foreign country, I double-checked its location compared to the airport location. Lesson learned, and no front desk employees suffered the wrath of a Karen because I knew it was my own stupidity. I think she was trying for a night's stay with a 50% discount. But surely if you're going to try and blag it, as soon as you hear sold out, do you double down and commit for a solid half hour, or just leave? Is the 50% deposit paid months in advance policy for your hotel? Way I see it, we have the following options. She was lying and trying to BS her way into a room with a 50% discount, but I already paid. She had contacted a completely different hotel, though not appearing in the corporate extranet makes that less likely. She was delusional, and had somehow become convinced that she made a reservation. She got scammed by something she thought was a reservation system. The insistence that she knows the manager and stays here all the time would seem to counter that though. I'm going to go with 1. She's found out that every hotel in town is booked solid, and is trying to cram her way in. She's one of those people who are sure that hotels aren't really sold out and will totally have couple of rooms to put important guests in. I wish you could just respond with, "Girl, I don't know who you paid, and it's really weird that y'all are so tight, but you don't know their name." Anyway, if you did pay someone, I'd be checking my email to see what hotel I paid. Sounds like her intent was an attempt to bamboozle you for a half-rate room since she already paid a 50% deposit. Of course, since you've lost her reservation and deposit, you should also comp her room. Did she plop her ID down along with her credit card, or could the card be stolen or fraudulent as well? That's usually why these people don't show up at the second property in case you called law enforcement to meet them. Glad you didn't fall for her tomfoolery. I can't believe the amount of corruption and criminal behavior we're dealing with these days. It's utterly ridiculous. Karen refuses to buy a bus ticket, gets herself arrested. If you take public transit and your phone dies due to a 7-year-old battery, you may sometimes get a comedy show straight from Monty Python himself, such as on a particular Thursday evening. I peacefully sat on the bus after a long day at university, staring out the window, when some male voice interrupts my semi-dissociative state saying, "Please show your tickets, everyone." Nothing out of the ordinary, I assume, until I see a woman speed walking towards the front of the bus in the utmost corner in my eye. I think nothing of it, show the about 30-ish looking ticket inspector my ticket and continue staring out the window, until I overhear the following conversation. "Ticket inspector, I saw you run towards the front of the bus as soon as I asked for tickets. Get out at the next stop or you will be fined." Karen, no, I just hopped on the bus on main train station, and thus, I went to buy a ticket. TI, we got on at main train station, and you were in the bus since before then, as you were not on the bus stop with us. K, you are obviously lying. You just didn't see me because I entered before you, on main train station. Meanwhile, the bus has reached the next stop. TI, I don't have time for this. Get out now, or you will be fined. K. I am not leaving, you liar. TI. Alright then, that'll be a €60 fine for you. The bus left for the next station at this point in time, which is right next to the police station. K. No, I was going to buy a bus ticket after I have just gotten on the bus. You pathetic liar. TI. Name and family name? K. No, I will not accept your fine and I will not give you my name. TI. Fine by me, then show me your ID and I'll gladly fill out the fine ticket myself. K. I don't have an ID with me and you are still a liar. TI. Over the radio, yeah guys, can two of you come over? We got a very uncooperative passenger here who refuses to fill out the fine ticket. K. Wait, wah. How dare you? Meanwhile, the random guy sitting next to me and I are chuckling. TI. Still over the radio, gotcha, awesome. Thanks. TI. Well, as you refuse to leave the bus, I will have you escorted off the bus by the police, and the bus will stay here until you get out. And believe me, now you will not be able to go away that early. K. This is unacceptable. I will get you fired for this. TI. See you in court, lol. Yes, he actually unironically said lol. K. It's always you immigrants and young spoiled brats who ruin the lives of us hardworking German adults. This is the reason why this country is going to shit. TI. With a smirk, I'm born in Germany, but I will gladly accept the compensation for emotional damages. At that, Karen let out a shriek of despair, anger, and something else of what I can only describe as demonic qualities. The bus stopped at the aforementioned stop, waited for 2 minutes, and I saw two men in blue approaching, looking supremely pissed, as if they were just put on this last assignment as they were about to go home. P.O. Alright ma'am, I'm going to ask you nicely to get off the bus once. Karen storms out of the bus, the ticket inspector leaves as well. As soon as the doors closed, some people burst into straight-up laughter, including the driver. I had a genuine urge to clap after this performance. What did we learn today? Buy your bus tickets before you go on the bus, and sometimes, the real world can be even funnier than the entire internet combined. Also, if you make such a fuzz about a mere €60 fine, you can get yourself into knee-deep crap. Wow, she actually had a chance to get off the bus without being fined? That's a deal no one should pass. In Finland you get immediately fined if you're traveling without a ticket. In Belgium too. I was thinking the exact same thing. This is nuclear-level entitlement. I remember fare enforcement in Frankfurt being very efficient. Like, 4 officers boarding a car and sweeping it quickly. They know what they are doing and they don't mess around. I used to be so annoyed with Robert Heinlein for describing certain people as oxygen thieves, but as I've grown older and more cynical, it's begun to feel more tempting to think of certain people that way. The ethics or morality of fare jumping aside, imagine the world inside this woman's head, where she thinks her day is more likely to end well, the nastier she gets with someone who has the power to vex her with impunity. She could easily have said, "Oh, I apologize, I shall debark and sort my ticket out at the next stop," and then either done just that, or got on the next bus quietly to try for a free ride again. She's not even good at being bad. So, she gets points off for unjustifiable entitlement, discourtesy and unwarranted aggressiveness to another person, as well as being bad at what she was doing, i.e. getting her way. Stupidity should be painful. Where I live you can't buy paper tickets anymore. You have to use a phone app or buy a reloadable card. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.